Hi there, Emerald Gorgeous here. This is a simple pattern we have. We haven't marked it for beginners, but it is very straightforward, and it's a neckerchief. So I normally wear mine with a little brooch here, but a lot of people wear it more in cowboy style with a knotted, just knotted around here, and it's lovely. It looks quite nice when you've just got a simple neckline in your jumper, or really if you're just cold in the winter. So, we haven't marked this as beginner for the simple reason that it's got two increased stitches on the first row. It's got one increased style, and on the second row it's got another increased style. So because we increase quite sharply along here, it's almost impossible to believe that the first row is 5 stitches. I'll just take it out just to look at it. The first row is 5 stitches, which is just here, and then we're increasing very fast along here because we're increasing 2 stitches on each side every row, which is unusual, but that's how you get that lovely sharp incline. And this is the final row when you cast off, is that row here. So this is the start, and then we're going to be doing sharp increases. One of them is to knit into front and back, and where we get this hole here, which you might call lacy, that's what it can sometimes be called, that particular stitch we're going to teach you, but really people like me might just say, oh, it just creates a gap, which is quite pretty when it's regularly all the way along. So this was knitted in alpaca, the wine color. I'm going to demonstrate today using mustard. So let's just cast on. First of all, it's just 5 stitches. So we're going to, let's create a loop, and then you can cast on any way you like, but let's keep it simple and use the knit cast on. Now I'm going to come in closer again for this. Right, okay. So I put the needle through the loop, and I'm going to go put the yarn around the needle. I'm going to come back through the loop, picking up that yarn, and I'm going to pop it onto the needle. That's 2 stitches. Back through the loop, around the needle, coming back up through, pop it on. Round, through, that's the 4th stitch, and then back through the loop, round the needle, and pop it on. Okay, so that's our 5 cast on stitches. Now the first row we're actually only going to increase by 2, and the way we're going to do it is we're going to knit into the front and back of the first stitch and the last stitch. So to knit into front and back, well, normally when we knit a stitch, let's do a normal knit stitch, we would knit it, we would go round the loop, round the needle, back, and then back through the loop and off with its head. And we'll do that one more time, through the needle, through the loop, round the needle, back through the loop and off with its head. But we are not doing a normal knit stitch, we're increasing this stitch. So let me just undo these 2. Right, so we're going to go through the loop, and then we go round the needle, back through the loop, and then we're going to take the working needle, which is the right hand needle, over the back of the holding needle, which is the left, and we're going to go in through the back of the very same stitch to create a 2nd stitch. Okay, and then we're just going to knit to the end, to the last stitch, sorry. And in the last stitch we're going to repeat that again. We're going to go through the loop, round the needle, back through the loop, and then we're going to take the working needle over the back of the hand needle, and we're going to go into the back of the same stitch, and we're going to knit it. Okay, so now we went from 5 to 7 stitches because the first and last stitch we increased. The next row, which is also all the rows, so I'll repeat this row a couple of times just to embed it. We'll show you twice anyway. Knit 1, yarn in front. That means you're bringing the yarn to the front. That is a way that we often use to make eyelets or holes. It's also a simple way to increase, because I'm going to knit the next stitch, but the wool is going to come over my needle before I even get there. So I've already increased, just knit the 2nd stitch, but I've already got 3 stitches. But actually, let me undo that. I would just show you that we've already increased here, but the yarn over gives you an increase. The next stitch is going to be knit into front and back. So we knit round the needle, back through the loop, lift the needle over the working needle over the holding needle, and knit into the back of the same stitch. That's knit into front and back. Now we're going to knit to the second from last stitch on the end. So we're down to 2 stitches, and then we're going to knit into front and back. Knit round the needle, back through the loop, and then we're going to take the working needle over the top of the holding needle and knit into the back of the very same stitch. So then we're going to go yarn forward, and then we're going to do that. So I think, maths being not my strength, I think we've gone from 5 to 7 in the last row, and now we've got 11 stitches. Let's have a look. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11. Oh, magic maths is clearly my strong spot. Now let's see if we can add another 4 stitches to make it 15 in just 2 rows. So it's knit 1, yarn in front, and then it makes another stitch. Knit into front and back of the next stitch. Knit into front, take the needle over the back and knit into the back of the same stitch. Why is that being so difficult? I don't know why that's being so difficult. There we go. Why is that being so difficult? I've got some wool caught up then. Okay. And then we're going to go knit to the last 2. I really made a meal of that one. But anyway, let's see if I can buck up a bit when we get into the last 2 stitches. Just knitting all the way along to the last 2 stitches. Then we're going to knit into the front and back. Knit into the front, yarn round needle, back through the loop, and then take the working needle over the top of the holding needle and into the back of the same stitch, back through the loop, and far more superiorly achieved, if that's a word. And then and then yarn over, yarn to the front, yarn forward, which is yarn over, and we've made an extra stitch. So the yarn over, yarn forward, they mean the same thing, but I think always get confused. I think yarn forward is English and yarn over is American. Let's just be very clear then. Every row is we're going to knit 1, then we're going to bring the yarn forward or yarn over, depending on which side of the pond you are, and then we're going to knit into front of back of that previously big loop stitch. And we're just going to knit to the front of back. It's quite a nice big loop because it's been a yarn forward stitch. It's actually created a nice big loop to work with. So it should be quite easy to go into front and back. Then we're going to, one final time, we've got a lot of stitches already, as you can tell. So this increases quite quickly. We're going to knit to the end, literally every row. And until we get to the last stitch, the second last stitch, isn't it? And then we're going to do second last stitch. We're going to knit into front and back, super easy. Needle through the loop, round the needle, back through the loop, working needle to the back, knit into the same stitch from behind. Then we're going to go yarn forward, and then we're going to knit the last one. So we keep on in this style, doing that second row, just repeating that row until it's either the length you want or you run out nearly of wool. You need to always remember when you're casting off, you always need to keep about 4 times the length of your work to cast off with. So when the needle is really full, you'll need to take this yarn and go like this all the way to make sure that you've got enough to cast off with, and that's it. It looks like, wow, can that work? Can that simple process produce this? Well, that is essentially what we're doing. And when we start off, because it's still on the needles, it looks it's going to look, once it comes off the needle, once it grows longer, you will see that that middle is extending quite fast to become this. So I think that's it. Thank you. Bye now.